Ryan. With me is...
Dedicate.
Today we're continuing the Super Sentai Saikyou Battle, Episode 2 of 4.
Yep, so start off with a quick recap. Akaninja asks Gaisorg if he's trying to destroy Super Sentai, but he says that he just wants to fight the strong. And then we get the opening. Yeah, nothing too special, but it's obvious he doesn't want to kill them because he could. So then we get the episode title, Battle 2, The Mysterious Armor Behind the Scenes. Orange and Akaninja fight. Gaisorg, of course, Marvelous rushes in. But he gets knocked down, and Akaninja shields him from Gaisorg's finisher with his body, and injures himself. Marvelous gets pissed because he interfered, and Stinger gets equally pissed and tells him to cut it out. Pretty good clash. Thoughts?
Stinger's not going to take that shit from Marvelous, so it's good that he's on this team as well to help balance that out.
Yeah, definitely. So Rita is watching the gems gather when Gaisorg shows up. She tells him to stop causing trouble, but he actually has one of those invitations. Golden ticket, basically. So at the team room, Yamato blows up at Marvelous for being so reckless and not relying on them. And then we get a flashback to their crossover episode. But Marvelous coldly tells him that he's just using them and the power of Sentai to obtain treasure.
Obviously, I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah. But, I mean, obviously, to most people who've watched Gokaiger, he's probably more concerned about Luca, but yeah, he hasn't even told them because that's just Marvelous.
Specifically Luca in this case, because what happened to her? Why was Gaisorg using her attack?
Yeah, so it's a good scene, of course. Marvelous sticking to character. And then Takaharu tries to break up the tension with a pretty stupid joke. So Rita announces that Gaisorg will now be a wild card fighter. Stinger wonders what Gaisorg's motive is, except for the one he keeps saying he just wants to fight the strong. And then Marvelous takes off. Takaharu and Kagura follow. Stinger leaves, just saying he has some business. So Yamato's all alone. Any thoughts?
So, like, Takaharu's kind of an idiot. I didn't watch Ninja, but that's just the impression that I'm getting here. Like, there's ways to break the mood, but then there's just ways to make people wonder why you're here. Such as with that little joke of his.
Yeah, he's basically just gonna be comic relief for this miniseries.
Yeah, but like you said, anyone who's seen Gokaiger knows that, like, Marvelous highly values his team. They're basically his family because they're all he has. So, and he is the serious type, so, like, all of this makes sense when you've seen what he's been through, but the other Sentai members haven't seen all that, so they don't know.
Yeah. So Stinger is unable to contact Tsurugi. For those who haven't watched, he's basically the president of the galaxy. Rita announces a 3-on-3 tag team battle, and Yamato decides to fight alone after seeing that Stinger and Marvelous are going to be his teammates. Yeah, go ahead.
Which I can see his reasoning, because in the instance that, like, they all just left off on, they were hardly talking to each other, and they didn't have anything good to say.
Yeah.
So while it was stupid of him to say, I'll fight alone, it went better than it might have if they had tried fighting together.
For sure. So Marvelous remembers getting the Go Rangers' powers and how they just trusted him. And then Takaharu shows up. He actually makes him chuckle with his joke this time. And this joke is actually kind of funny. But, let's see. Oh yeah, Kagura is relieved after seeing Marvelous smiles. And then they kind of start talking about themselves. Takaharu talks about his family / comrades. Marvelous thinks about his comrades. And in the end, he kind of just can't resist the positive energy of the two. Any thoughts on that?
Uh, Not much, but it was like a really just heartfelt scene that you can expect to get occasionally in Sentai.
Yeah, even though these characters didn't have a ton of development, it was still nice seeing them use
Like,
what they did have.
it's good to just see like how the different characters interact with each other. I really enjoyed last episode seeing Yamato look at Stinger and go, "Wait, are you a Jew man?" Because applying their unique traits into the context.
Yep,
So just seeing them like smile with each other here was good feeling.
for sure. So Yamato fights Gao Red, Vol Shark, and Ginga Green. I
Yeah,
didn't bring this up last. Oh, go ahead.
that's a quite a heavy hitting team that he took on alone.
Yeah. But I didn't bring this up last episode, but I do like all the old background tracks that they've been using. Like we've got some from Q Ranger, obviously from Zyuohger, and some of the other older series. Like here at the beginning of the fight, there's a Gao Ranger one, so that's kind of neat. And of course, we get to see other fights going on. You can see Yamato on screen, and Marvelous points out his hypocrisy of saying, "Trust your comrades," and then going to
Go
fight
and
by
fight
himself.
alone. I actually
Yeah.
wasn't sure if they were just going to join in mid match or not, and they ended up not doing that. Which he did officially change the matchup, so I guess it might have been cheating if they did at that point.
Yeah. But even that was a good callback because, as quick as Yamato is to help others, sometimes throughout the series he's kind of reluctant to
Ask for
get
help
help from the
himself.
others. Yeah.
It is I can relate to that. It is way easier to help others than helping yourself. Like just cleaning my apartments, I get bored and tired when I'm cleaning my own apartment, but if I'm helping someone else clean, it's like, yeah, I want to do a good job. I don't want to let them down.
Yeah, that's true. So, in the fight, Joe Eagle struggles, but he's determined to fulfill his promise. And then we get a flashback. A boy that he met with a terminal illness wanted to see all the animals of the savannah, and Yamato promised him that he would take him someday. Unfortunately, he passed away. So, Yamato won't lose. And we get the Zyuohger opening. He uses his 2 power-ups and beats the 3 rangers before grabbing the gem. Although he's pretty damn beat up. So, we get Gaured out of suit. He says that he admires Yamato's passion and says that all Sentai are built on trust. So as long as he trusts his comrades, the rest will come pretty easy. Which was really nice. Your thoughts on that?
It was a really nice statement. It's really good to see, like I was saying before, it's really good to see the ideals of the different characters, interact with each other. Gal Red saying, yeah, it's pretty easy being a Red. Trusting your teammates is the hard part. It's yeah, other Sentai members don't, even if they feel that way, don't explicitly say it. So it's good to just see that interaction. Like, this show is taking full advantage of its veterans returning, and I really appreciate that. It feels relevant that they're here, even if it's just short cameos to say short lines like that.
Yeah, for sure. And especially since I watched Gao Ranger recently, so that's cool that it's still fresh in my mind. So Takaharu leaves to help Yamato back because he's pretty injured, but Guy Sorg attacks him. Yamato returns without seeing Takaharu. He apologizes to Marvelous for being a hypocrite and not trusting him. Rita announces that she'll send Guy Sorg into a fight that's kind of dragging on, but the Rangers were actually waiting for him to appear, which was pretty cool. And of course, Marvelous leaves. Then we cut to Stinger, and he finds this giant magic beating heart that's like wrapped in thorns. It's pretty freaky. And books investigating all the Sentai. And then he finds another book that shocks him.
Like, I'm sorry, did Stinger walk onto the set of Kamen Rider?
Yeah, it
Because that's
definitely
like,
had that underground evil lab feel.
like as we said last week, like, we don't trust Rita. She's clearly evil. Like, it's probably not just the stones that are getting sucked up into the device. It's probably like the Rangers themselves. Like, making any wish happen, that takes a lot of power. Uh, thing is that, like, I guess I'm just curious, like, where they're taking this whole plot line. Like, what is the point here? What is the evil incentive? Because you have this character that has, as far as we know, has no real business with Sentai. She's not a returning villain, so what's the plan here?
Yeah. It is curious. So Guy Sorg easily handles the four Rangers, but Ryu Ranger touches the gem after he gets knocked down, so they could stay in the turn. Then Marvelous arrives. He says this time will be different. Of course,
I mean,
Mizuki
yeah, he
changes.
says that.
Yeah, but in the fight, he uses other people's power-ups. He uses Deca Red and Hurricane Red's power.
Which, to be fair, that was different. He didn't Gokai change before.
Yeah. So he hits him with, the final wave attack and knocks his helmet off. It's Takaharu.
Dun dun dun!
Yeah.
This is actually really interesting. So what this is showing us is that Guy Sorg isn't anyone. There's no one under that mask because there could be anyone under that mask. It's like that villain from Kyoryuger that was literally just a suit of armor, and depending on who was wearing it, he was stronger.
Mm-hmm. So then we cut to Riso Green and Black. They find some power-up items. Surprisingly, they actually leave two behind. I guess they don't like repeats.
I mean, they already
then,
Green already had copies of those, and Blue didn't even acknowledge. Black didn't even acknowledge them, so he clearly also had those ones.
Yeah. So Black actually finds one that doesn't work in his sword. I forgot the name. And he leaves it behind. Of course, the camera zooms in on it.
It's like
Episode ends.
they think it's just a dud, but it's actually like, nope. This is actually just you didn't figure out how to use it correct.
Yeah, and we all know how that's usually plays out.
It's like,
that the Sixth
hey,
Ranger gets to use it. But it's still cool that we're getting foreshadowing this early on, before the show even starts.
yeah, this is like doing a lot more to set up the next show than I was expecting, considering the reasons. Like, well, I guess I just kind of assumed that the new show wasn't ready to air yet, and that's why they were doing this. But I guess this could have also been planned.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more refreshing than the typical they show up for a fight in the movie, and the fight isn't even super great.
Yeah,
So
we haven't been getting those movies like we normally do. Did they like? Are they not? Do they not perform well enough, or something?
no, I mean we're getting Q Ranger versus the
But much
Lupat.
later than normal.
Yes. Uh, I don't know. It's a good question. But then again, this is like the end of an era, so
Yeah, so the rules are changing.
yeah, for sure. But that's it for the episode.
But what about our episode? Because this is our 200th episode of this, isn't it?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
200 episodes of us covering Sentai.
And Ryder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
It's 200 total.
two,
Gotcha.
yeah. Not counting our little side projects such as like the roundtable movies and such. This has been 200 episodes of both Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, because we watch shows that average 45 to 50 episodes a season.
Yep.
Um, when did you first start doing the podcast?
Uh, I think I was there since the beginning,
Oh,
to be
really?
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think we ever truly talked about how all this started, but this all got started with Zero. Like, I think this started with the group viewings
Yeah.
that he was doing on a special website to try and, like, so we could watch the episodes together with live commentary with each other. That didn't work out too well, though. And at one point, he told me like, "Yeah, I'm working on a podcast to talk about the episodes. Do you want to be on it?" It's like, "Yeah, sure." And we started with Exit, and at the time, like my schedule didn't fit too well with when the episodes were being done, so I wasn't there at the beginning. But I joined in after a few episodes, and eventually just became a regular.
Yep. It's pretty fun. Even when we don't like an episode, it's still interesting hearing each other's thoughts and stuff.
Yeah, it's still good to like talk it out instead of just saying I don't like the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is basically what the forums basically became for me. And
Yeah.
once we had the podcast, I didn't feel like going on there anymore because like I can actually just talk to people about this now.
Yeah. So thanks to everyone who's listened and all the people who have actually joined us for this, even if it was just for like an episode or two.
Yeah, whether you've been listening to us consistently or you just occasionally pop in, we appreciate the viewership.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started, I wasn't the one who did the notes for Ryder. But the person who did like couldn't consistently make it anymore because of his job, and so I agreed to take over and as a backup, which just became full time.
Yeah, it's not too bad unless
Nah, and
work or life interferes.
through like feedback and such, I've been trying to like get the notes faster and such. Uh, did you like volunteer early on to do Sentai notes, or was someone else handling that at first?
No, it was pretty much me, yeah. Just
Okay.
because I'd been QCing Sentai, like, even before we started the podcast. I was
Yeah,
like Manju
that's
OG and
been
stuff.
a big help. Uh, yeah, good. Thank you, by the way, for sharing those like rough
Yeah.
drafts with us so that we can catch the episode in time to do like a podcast on consistent nights a week.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
or
we'd
who
else we'd
knows when
have
the
to like
podcast would have to
either
go.
change like when we do these or rely on other site subs, which there are some good ones out there, but then there are also like the faster ones are tend to be like the less quality ones.
Yep.
Like I'm trying not to like insult them, but there's a notable difference between how they're done.
Yeah, for sure. Some people sub and English is like their third language, so sometimes some sentences can be kind of weird. But any final thoughts on this episode?
They set up some neat stuff that I wasn't expecting, so I'm definitely interested in seeing what like what Rita's whole actual deal is and why she's doing this. Uh, Definitely seeing what the actual deal with Guy Sorg is as well, because all right, he's not who we thought we was, which was literally anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So who is he? Is he another living suit of armor? Is he like some kind of curse? Like there's some directions they could take this in.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of another thing it reminds me of is like that armor from Abba Ranger, like that black armor that makes you kind of evil.
I don't recall that. I didn't see
Uh,
Abba Ranger.
yeah.
I saw
It was
Dino
kind of just at the
Thunder.
beginning, but yeah.
Oh, I saw Dino Thunder, but they probably glossed over that.
Yeah, Abba Ranger was kind of weird. But yeah, good episode. Pretty good setup. I think we're gonna get the Guy Sorg stuff resolved next episode, and then Rita will be the final boss in episode 4.
What? How crazy would it be though if they just threw everything out the window and went, "This is Rita Repulsa."
That
Like,
would be a bit crazy.
like, I just can't even fathom if they actually did that. Like, not actually the like Power Rangers version, but like they reveal that her name is Rita Repulsa and that she's like an evil witch.
Yeah, and she's actually an old lady, and the little
She's
girl is just a disguise.
she's like Bandora's daughter or something, granddaughter. Oh my
Or
god!
that.
Actually, at the end of Jew Ranger, because I watched that a couple years ago, uh, the Japanese counterparts of Goldar and Scorpina have a child,
Oh dear.
and Jew Ranger was, God, it was almost 30 years ago.
That would be quite a throwback.
So that would be like when Operation Overdrive was like, yeah, I'm the son of Rita and Lord Zed, but still.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't get why their child, when they had that child, it feels evil because they turned good after. Power Rangers continuity is worse than Sentai somehow. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. I would have liked to have done a bit more with this 200th episode, but unfortunately, not everyone could make it tonight. So maybe we'll see a bit more from people tomorrow. when we talk about more about Kamen Rider Zeo and finish up the Kikai plotline. Uh, Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.